Gosh, it's 10 minutes after 5 here on the 25th of July. I had to just check my Seiko, and I'm about 90% smashed. Been over here that was Lola. I'll get around to that pretty soon. Been sitting over here kind of drinking with the people since about noon. Happy hour on Saturday now, you know. And right now I'm sitting with Ted and Lola, his lovely wife. And believe it or not, Roger and Connie are up here. And also Rick, who I've written about. And they want to go downtown. And Rick's going to get his camera. And I said, gosh, I might as well go get my tape recorder and we'll make the tape and take it downtown with us and let you know what goes on when you're not here. Actually, I'm a little jealous of both these people, but win some and lose some. Win some and lose some. Anyway, honey, got lots more to tell you a little later on. The only reason why I'm making this tape is because had some fantastic ideas this afternoon from Colonel Frondorf, and I just couldn't bring myself to sit down and write for an hour, which would it take for me to tell you, exactly what I have in mind. I've tried to call you 3 or 4 times today, and got through to Tack Switch. And finally, the guy says, "Look, Major," he said, "I know you." He said, "You've called many, many times," and he said, "They just can't hear you in Japan." So I kind of give up, honey. And the guy was just fantastic, to put the calls through. Just dial a number, and today, for some reason, I could get through on the first call to Osan and get Tack Switch, and got to Fuchu, and the guy says, "Call back on another line." And so I can't talk to you. So in place of sitting down for a couple hours and trying to write a letter, we'll try to make this tape. Okay, now we're all sitting around here at the bar, down by the quarter slot machine, right by the door that's goes into the pool room. And I got Lola sitting on my left, and then there's Roger and Connie, who's a lovely young blonde, and quite in contrast with Lola here, is kind of dark-headed and kind of pretty, but actually she only speaks German, so we just barely let her in the club. Then there's Rick, and he just got back. He went to get his camera so that we can go downtown, and we're going to take him through the market and buy a squid. We have to get a picture of Lola with a squid, and we're not going to tell her what it smells like. There's nobody that can tell her what it smells like you do. No, wait a minute. I didn't really mean it that way. But then there's Ted sitting here, and he's just about as drunk as I am. He's been drinking green cream de menthe because it makes pretty puke. And, well, he always was kind of artful. Anyway, I'm going to pass this off to somebody here, honey. And a little bit later, I'll give you all the serious details. Guys, I wish you were here, honey. Let's see, we'll talk to Ted here first. You want to say a few words first, Ted?
Say a very few. Say, Helen, we're trying to get this bunch up off their duffs to go down to the market downtown. And we'll give you a blow-by-blow description. Right, that's a bad word. We'll give you a play-by-play, okay, description. And we'll let you know what's going on. We're having a lot of fun, Helen, and we're enjoying ourselves, and we wish you were here.
Testing, 1, 2. When he said blow by blow, I've already briefed him that you don't use words like that, but these grunts will never learn. Okay, let's see if I can get something out of somebody else here. Connie, would you like to say a few words to Helen?
Hi, this is Connie. I'm Roger's wife, and your husband has been a very nice host to us here at Camp Page since we got here. He provided us with a fan, and he's been very congenial in his treatment of us. And everybody's trying to tell me what to say. Roger and I went up to the DMZ yesterday, and I understand you were one of the very first females up there, and I'm sure that I was one of a few, a very select group, because they sort of were a little overwhelmed by my presence and didn't want to do anything wrong. But I wish I could have met you. Maybe sometime we can get together. I can't think of much else to say, so I'll give it to somebody else.
Gosh, honey, I don't know what Connie said. I was kind of off in the dark. But Lola wants to say a few words, and she has such a terrific German accent, which is really hard to understand, but if you really pay attention, maybe you can understand a word or two.
Hello, Helen. It's a shame you can't be here, because we're having a great ball. Your husband is very, very, very nice to me. Matter of fact, he's better to me than my own husband.
Oh, be nice now.
you went through when you came here, but it's a lovely and wonderful place, and everybody has been just marvelous. And now you went out downtown and tried out the beauty shop. Well, I did the same, and I tell you, I stayed and I washed my hair, and I don't have to go into any details to tell you what that did to me. But I came out looking pretty good. And sitting here every night getting drunk, listening to Chop Talk. Talk, Chop Talk, Chop Talk. Mike away. Everybody wants to talk to you. Just a minute. Here comes Big Roger himself.
Well, this is Rick Jones. I've never actually met you in person. However, I feel I almost know you from all the wonderful stories that Bill has told me about you. He's teaching me the right way to conduct myself in Korea. He's teaching me all the proper things to do, like getting drunk every night. Received quite a bit of my education just by reading all the cards that are tacked on Bill's door. Listening to the music on Bill's tape recorder. He sings my kind of music, country and western. Now we're getting ready to go downtown and get Lola a squid, so I'll have to sign off.
Hey, say, hon, we're going downtown to buy a squid. We better do it before the sun goes down, before we won't be able to take any pictures. Wish you were here there, hon. And here's Lolo. She's grabbing the mic.
Helen, the only reason I'm going downtown is to find out what your husband's U-boat looks like.
Pretty much.
Put the traffic circle now. I've taken over the tape from Bill because he says he's too drunk to hold it. Although I'm drunker than he is. Wait a minute. I'll get a comment from a person on the street. Just a minute. Hear the giggle? Some little girl. A play-by-play description. I was corrected on that last one. We're waiting at the stoplight here. Now it's green. We're crossing the street.
Hopefully.
And there's a couple of bicycles disregarding the traffic sign, but that's okay. The other side now. We've made it. Who hasn't made it across yet? He's crawling. Come on, please. There's a couple of taxis that have stopped for him. These Koreans are real nice guys. They'll stop for anybody crawling across the street, but he's made it now. He's up on the gutter on the other side. Just a few minutes now, we'll be up in the Squid Center where we're going to buy a squid. Shut it off. We're entering the marketplace now. It's got a quaint aroma of sort of rice, really. It's not too bad. The things that amaze me are the way that the women carry things on their head. This is really amazing. A woman just walked by with what must have been 100 pounds of rice on top of her head. Hey, we found some squid. It's dried. Hey, Lolo? Let's try some. We'll try a couple of pictures on the squid.
Well, honey, it's about 6:15 now. I kind of ducked down the alley from that mess you just heard. Kind of want to get the people started. Ted and Lola and Connie and Roger. And we all went downtown. You can hear what went on before then. We all went downtown, and I kind of ducked down the alley and slipped back here to the BOQ. And I'm sitting here right now in front of my big fan, or not mine, but one of the neighbors let me use his fan while Roger and Connie have mine. And I got the tape recorder going. And I'm kind of had too much drink this afternoon, but really feel good, really. I came back this afternoon and started a letter, and Colonel Frondorf came in. And this is before, actually I went to Happy Hour and came back and started to write to you. And Colonel Frondorf came in and we started talking. And we were discussing the housing and everything, and he said, look, why don't you rent a luxury apartment? The reason why I felt so good is we've discussed this afternoon, and that's the answer. I mean, we're going to rent us a luxury apartment in San Bernardino. But anyway, he came in and we sat here and talked, and he told me a little bit about it. And I felt so darn good, and course, I'll tell you a little bit more about it later on the tape, but felt so darn good, got up and went back over to the club, and I said, that's the answer. And I tried to call you 2 or 3 times, and just had the people that are just fantastic try to get you through, but as I said before, they just can't get us through. Anyway, I went back over to the club, and there was Colonel Shriver and Colonel Machini, who's Colonel Anderson's replacement, LC, and full Colonel Shriver, Ted, and Lola. And I walked in, and they said, join us. So I did. And Colonel Shriver gave us his wife. It's just written, and it's not a by guess or by guy. She's definitely pregnant. Of course, he's making a lot of fun of it. He's tickled to death. But there's also the chance of multiple birth, and we're all teasing him about having 4 kids in 2 years. Anyway, Ted and Lola decided we should celebrate and buy him a quart of champagne, which we did, and I bought one, and we sat there and just got a little bit, drank too much, and then we decided we'd go downtown, and, for Ted and Lola, and then Connie and Roger came in, and of course they're all for it. Anyway, we got downtown, and I just did a fast 90-degree down the alley and back here talking to you. Okay, let me get back to this apartment bit, honey. I'm just tickled to death. That's the answer. Colonel Frondor said it. Well, when he came over, he brought his tape recorder, and he wanted to make a tape to his wife, whose name is Jane. And Jean, I'm sorry. And we sat here and made a few words to her about what we need to know about this apartment living. And what it boils down to is that renting will cost us from $200 to $220 to rent a house, $250 maybe. And if you buy, which would be a good deal if we were going to settle there, but the interest rates are so high, if we buy, we'd have to use my GI loan, which I don't want to do. And we want to save that for when we settle down. It's only going to be 2.5 years. And he mentioned, have you ever considered apartment living? Which we never have, honey. Gosh, with all the kids, but they're old enough now, and I think that the kids will just be excited to no end if we decide to do this. And I've already made the decision, I think you'll love it too. He said they have the apartment styles, just like Mac and Betty lived in. Remember when we were back in San Antonio, the 2 or 3 story high type with a swimming pool in the middle, and everybody has their patio in the back, that juts out if you're on the 2nd floor. And they run from $225 to, well, I told him, I said, I'll be glad to pay $250 a month. And he said, no problem, you can get a beautiful apartment for that. Anyway, what it means is that I think we should, well, it just solves all our problems. He said they have many, many of these types, the U-shaped, and we can get a 3-bedroom apartment, and non-furnished. They have wall-to-wall carpeting, and we have, we talked to Jane this afternoon, his wife, and said send us the info on how much it costs and where they have drapes. What it means is that we can move into a luxury apartment, 3 bedrooms, with a swimming pool, central air, central heat, no yard to take care of, no maintenance, dishwasher, washer, dryer, and everything, the whole bit. And I know we have a lot of that stuff, honey, but for 2.5 years, I think it's just fantastic. It just tickled me to death. In fact, that's the reason why I tried to call you to say, look, let's do that. We can. I'll be home here in a couple of weeks, and we can get our orders, and after I get my orders, and we can send the car home and to LA, and we'll go over and take a look around, just passing through, maybe spend one night in a motel or something, which you can't afford to do. I don't know how we're going to work it yet, but we'll go home and get the trailer, and we'll move into one of these luxury apartments. I mean, even if it costs us $300 a month. Now, it sounds like a lot of money, but we have no rent or no utilities, no air conditioning to buy. We don't have any drapes to buy. Sure, we'll have a lot of stuff which is kind of sitting out in storage, like our stove and refrigerator and washer and dryer and all that stuff. But I think that's the only answer. That gives us a chance to, and the kids will love it. I know we got Dirk, it's 6, but they have a pool, and you can swim 9 months out of the year, and it'll be just like Frondorf said that they had some friends they used to go over and visit, live in one. They used to be jealous. They have a $26,000 home. Said their living room was bigger than what they had. Said they got all the modern conveniences, piped-in music, and he said they were jealous when they went over. Anyway, I'm kind of sold on it, and it's only for the 2.5 years, and it'll give us a chance. We don't want to buy yet. We don't want to use my GI Bill, and I think it's great. I just wish I could talk to you this afternoon. I'm sure you'll be tickled. The reason why I'm sending this tape is because I just can't sit down and tell you just how I feel with a letter. So as soon as I get the orders, I'll bust home as soon as I can, probably the second or third weekend in August, and we'll try to get the car sent home. We'll drive up to Norton and spend a night in a hotel or a motel, even if it costs us $30, $40, and we'll talk all this over, honey, when I get home. But we got to work some way we'll look around and find one of these that we want, and maybe even bust home and get the trailer and come back and live in it while we look for one of these apartments that we want. And I think, I'm sure it's something that we'll all enjoy, and I'm sure you will. Guys, move into a brand new, ultra-modern apartment just like Mac and Betty, that we used to go up there, and I'm really enthused. Gosh, I think it's just great. Even if it costs us $300 a month, the kids should enjoy it. It's they'll have their own rooms. We'll get 3 bedrooms just like we have now, and they'll have the pool. They can swim in 9 months out. They can have their friends in, and I think it'd be fantastic for them. And of course, I know you and I will enjoy it. It'll give us a chance to not have to worry about anything. Shoot, we can just relax and kind of enjoy high life for a while. So I think that's what we should do. I don't know about, as I told Frondorf, Tom, we'll have the trailer, and I've read all the literature, honey, you sent over from Norton, and there's camping places, and just, places like Apple Valley and Daggett, and places that I know have been heard of, I think it's just, they're within just a couple hours, honey, and with our trailer, we're going to be gone every weekend and every chance we get out in the boonies, and to live, for 2 or 3 years, which we're going, it's all we have left, in a luxury apartment, and we'll have our trailer and our travel all to get out on the weekends and get out in the boonies, and then during the normal living time, we'll have actually it's, I think you know what I mean. I think we'll really enjoy it. So that's it, honey. In place of sitting down and trying to write a letter, I think it's just great. Like I say, I tried to call you several times. Everybody's tried to help me from Osan on, and I just can't get through. So I'm sure you had to go a lot of work to get a tape recorder to listen to this. But, honey, that was kind of an abrupt ending yesterday evening. It's now Sunday, the 26th, the next day, and I'm sitting here in my room, the same spot that I was yesterday when I quit this tape. I had 2 pizzas ordered, and I was really starved. I got up kind of late yesterday morning and had a big breakfast, a double order of ham and eggs, as a matter of fact, and then didn't eat until, I guess it was 6 o'clock something like that, 7 o'clock when I didn't eat again, and had these 2 pizzas sent over, and they were delivered, so I ate those and kind of stretched out on the bed. Went back over to the club, and in fact, I didn't even have a drink. Went in and had a couple of big oranges, and watched part of the floor show. And the only reason why I went over was because Rick got these other 3 guys together in intermission. They were going to sing a little barbershop. So I went over, and the floor show started late, and I ended up coming back, and I left Bud Mudd one of my walkie-talkies. I brought one back here, and I said, when these guys come on, give me a call. And I wanted to walk over and hear them sing during the intermission because they're really good. Anyway, I came back, and I rolled this tape back to the first and listened to it and made some remarks that I wanted to comment on. Didn't know whether it made any sense or not. And about 10:30, I reached over and just pulled the string that I have to shut my tape recorder off, and just shut that's my stereo, and then just shut this thing off and went to sleep and woke up at 7 o'clock this morning. And I went over and had big breakfast, and came back to the room and kind of got things squared away. And checked over my notes here and went over and had they have a sick call now for at 11:30. So I went over to with Colonel Frondorf, and we had a couple Bloody Marys. And I called Ted and Lola. I guess they had a big party at the club last night. They were up till 2 or 3 o'clock out in the patio singing and having a ball, which I missed. Everybody kind of told me they never seen me miss a party, but just didn't make it last night. Anyway, I called Ted and Lola this morning and want to know if they want me to bring them over a couple Bloody Marys. This was about 11 o'clock, and they said they weren't even up yet. So I sat there and talked with Colonel Frondorf and Colonel Anderson. And then Colonel Shriver came in, and Colonel Machini, the new Colonel Anderson replacement. And we sat there and batted a breeze for a while. And Joe Crawford and Hank came in, and we had a couple of drinks. And I said, well, it's 1:30, and I better get home and get this tape made out before looks like it might be a bad day. Anyway, before I went to sleep last night, honey, when I came back, I made 6 or 7 notes here that I wanted to comment on. One thing I noticed, I kind of repeated myself several times yesterday about trying to call you, and also about how I thought we'd enjoy this apartment style living. It's kind of, after I listened to what I said, it's kind of hard to explain why I kind of got enthused over it. Shoot, we were just sitting here talking, and we were talking about buying homes. You know, this literature says that if you're going to be there, the literature you sent from Norton suggests that if you're going to be there for 2 years or more, it pays you to buy a home. Well, we still have my GI Bill left, and it makes a hell of a lot of difference in the payments. And we could use our GI Bill and move in just like we did in Norman for nothing, essentially, and just pay the closing costs and be real fine. And then when we sell it, when we leave, we'd have to take a chance on selling it. And but then when we go to, if we ever want to, when we want to settle down, we won't have that to fall back on to get what we want to do as far as building or buying where we want to really settle down. And as I said before, honey, I've talked to 4 or 5 people, and they all love the area and just had a ball. But nobody wants to really settle down there, so I don't think we should take a chance and buy a home. First place, we'd have to start out with making a yard, and everything in the house is going to have to be, you know, drapes and wall-to-wall carpeting and all that stuff's going to have to be added, which would run us into a bunch of money, honey. So when Colonel Frondorf suggested or asked if we'd ever consider apartment living, I said no, and then he told me about these friends of his, which he was really jealous of. They have children, I think 3 children. They have 4 bedrooms, by the way, and they pay $225 a month. And he said they have a pool, 2-car parking spot, which is covered, and it's not a carport, but it's one big long covered carport, and they have 2 spaces. They have plenty of storage space. And he said every time that they went over, he said their living room was bigger than the one they had in their $26,000 home, and he said it was just fantastic. So I thought, golly darn, the kids are old enough now, and I know you'd enjoy that type of living, and it takes a lot of pressure off of us right now. And being how it's only for 2.5 years, I thought, boy, that's the answer. So as soon as I get the orders, I'll bust home. It'll be not next weekend, but either the weekend after that. That'll be the, let's see, must be around the 7th or something like that, or the 14th. As soon as I get my orders, I'll come home for the 5 days, and we'll get the car sent, and we'll talk all this over. But let's kind of plan on that, honey. Shoot, I think it'd be great. The kids will enjoy it. It'll be little modern type living. The only thing we're missing is a yard, and sitting in the backyard, we'll have a patio, and the kids can go swimming anytime they want to, and it's a place for us to sit around the pool or out in the patio, and it's air conditioned, you know, the whole bit. We don't have to worry about, I realize that we have a big rug and everything, and they have wall-to-wall carpeting, but we'll have built-in pastel kitchens, and I don't know what we're going to do with the stuff we got yet. They do have storage spaces. That's one of the things that I have on the list here to talk to you about. Anyway, some of the things that I noticed that I missed yesterday, I forgot to tell you that Roger and everybody else over here, Bob Palmer and John Miller, all of them have copied the flying suit, as well as, you know, we started the bid on the Sleep Tight Tonight, Your Air Force is Awake type picture, and I guess that went over pretty good in Fuchu. everybody over here now is getting flight suits made for the wives, and Connie had hers. I guess they really had a good time. Colonel Anderson fixed them up with a staff car today to take them back to Walker Hill. They're going to spend a couple extra days there before they go back to Osan. And also yesterday, if you noticed that Lola said that she was going to pass the tape recorder to Roger to make a little chat. He forgot to push the on switch, and he must have talked for 5 minutes, which wasn't recorded, and the next voice you heard was Rick coming in. Anyway, he was supposed to have talked. Now, I didn't hear what he said, but he talked for at least 10 minutes and forgot to put the mic switch on here, so you didn't get his. Also, you'll notice in the background, sounds like there's wind blowing over the microphone. That's because I'm sitting here right in front of the fan. It's not that I'm blowing into the mic here. And the other thing, I got number 3 thing here was about if we move into one of these places, they have, I guess I've already told you that, they have 2-car garages or spaces and covered for 2 cars, which would mean we could park our trailer and also a car. And I'm not sure that we can get by with me riding a motor scooter, although when I talked to Colonel Colley, the base commander down at Osan, I'm sure I wrote you about that. He said it's an ideal place, just not to have a second car, but a motor scooter, because you can ride it 12 months out of the year. So we'll have to talk about that, and maybe in place of a second car, we'll just get a motor scooter, which we want anyway, and it would sure save us a bunch of money and insurance and everything as far as buying a second car back there. We'll just have to see when we get there on that, honey. Then I've got number 4 item that I didn't mention yesterday was savings on, and I got a big dash here. Well, we'll save on having to buy air conditioners. We can, if we get a place that costs from $250 to $300, depending on how nice we want. Probably all we'll have to do is sign a lease for a year, and we're going to save on. Well, I'm sure our refrigerator is kind of shot. If we might have to buy a refrigerator, but if we do, we'll get the refrigerator freezer combination that we want. And Colonel Frondorf said that he's sure that they have washer dryers available, non-coin operated. But, well, these are just some of the things that we put on the tape yesterday to Jean, his wife, and he said it's great. It'll give her a project, something to do to try to look around and find, get the general idea of what the places have and everything. The other thing, number 5 item that I had here from last night, that when I listened to this, was that we think it might be, I think it'd just be great for the combination of living. The kids will enjoy the pool, and they'll live just like they are, well, just like we did at Canamura, actually. They'll have to share a room if we get 3 bedrooms, Vicky and Valley and Dyke and Dirk, but I'm sure they'll have, they're all in school now, and we're past the stage where we need the big backyard for somebody to, for them to play around in. They'll have everything that they need right there, and we have the trailer for the weekends. And as I mentioned yesterday, I went over the maps of the parks and places to go, and it's just fantastic, honey. So we won't feel like we're cheating anybody as far as being cooped up in an apartment. In fact, Colonel Frondorf said that when you walk into one of them, he said you don't even think it's an apartment style. He said it's just as big as any house, with except that you have all the ultra-modern conveniences, piped-in music, central air, and central. You don't have to worry about it. Nothing. All we do is just walk in, and we'll take the furniture that we have, and I'm sure we'll have to supplement with something, with a few things, but we can just move in and start enjoying ourselves. And the 6th thing I had here, honey, that I made scribbled off last night that I wanted to comment was the work. Since I found out that it's not the 141s, I feel just 100% better. It's just kind of base flight type flying, not very, it's no big deal. But mostly the job is just flying around the IG teams. Norton is the center for all the IG teams, as far even aerospace. Some of these I've flown when they were in this area over here. The aerospace safety team is over here. I flew them around, and the Air Force IG team, I've flown them around, and they're all stationed at Norton. And I'm sure it's going to be 99% stateside flying, where you take a team out and then come back to Norton, and some local or just base flight, just like I was doing there at Apache. So after considering everything, I'm just don't feel a bit disappointed or a bit bad. In fact, I'm really looking forward to it now. Okay, let me shut this off, honey, and back it up and make sure that I got everything organized. and the tape's about ready to flip over, and I'll flip it over, and we'll talk a little more. She's giving me a hard time. Just a minute while I backhand her. Had just backhand her a little bit there. Anyway, we're kind of on our second honeymoon.
Ooh, watch.
Somebody just dropped a cigarette ash on the sheet there. Anyway, we've had 4 or 5 wonderful days together. 6, I guess. This is Thursday night, as I said, the 8th, or actually Friday morning. And she got in on the 2nd, as I told you earlier in the tape, and actually about all we've done is kind of goof off. Today, we didn't get to be together for 7 or 8 hours. I had to go up a little farther north than normal and run a couple of strikes, and came back, and we decided we'd go downtown to the big village. Anyway, tomorrow we'd like to, if this thing works semi-decent, we'd like
get
to...
new batteries if it does.
Right. If this thing works semi-decent, we're going to try to take it with us. We have 2 strikes here in the local area. And Helen will put on her flight suit, and we'll all bust out of here about 9:30 in the morning. Real tough life. And, 20-minute drive tomorrow. Try to run a couple F-86 Rock aircraft in the morning. Honey, I'm going to hit you right in the nose. You want to listen to that, Chuck? Anyway, almost kissed the mic there. Anyway, now, wait a minute. Just close.
Okay, he said just blow it at once. I don't know what I'm supposed to blow in, but I just blew. And as Bill said, we were separated today for a while, and as I told you earlier, I walked the post, and everybody's just as friendly as they can be. And I visited the chapel for a while, and walked in the library, and went to the BX, and had lunch with the chaplain, full of love. Full of love. Bill always says to him, "What's your name?" Full of what? He says, "Love, baby." But I had lunch with him, and then I walked down the street with him for a while, and then I met another Colonel Anderson, who is in second command of the base, and a post, and talked to him a while, and came back here. And these gals are great. I think I told you, and they were out in the yard sunbathing, and they loaned me a pair of shorts, so I went out and, just a minute. Bill just lost his comb. Bill left his hair grow, and if he ever lets it down 1/8 of an inch short again, I'm going to shoot him, because he looks terrific, and all he does is comb his hair. Anyway, they loaned me a pair of shorts, and we went out and back here, and we have a nice little patio, and we laid out in the sun, and gee, they'll do anything for me. And we have, I'm over here in Chuncheon, and Bill just got word he may have to go to Tachikawa Monday for 5 days. This is something we've been looking forward to for 8 months, is for him to have a temporary duty in Tachikawa, Japan, and here I am over here, so he may have to go. But if he does, the commander said I can stay here, and Bill will go home and check on the kids, and come back, and I'll just spend next week. A little extra more money, but as long as they're taken care of, the kids, that is. We don't care.
We're well taken care of.
That's right. I'm getting well taken care of, and we're having a ball. And it's just, we just can't explain it to you people. I mean, to be able to share a remote with your husband and see what he's doing, and to go up on these lines with him and meet these Koreans, and of course they haven't seen many American women, and round eyes, and I feel like the Queen of Sheba and Liz Taylor and the whole bit rolled in one. They just kind of all stare, and here I am, a 38-year-old woman with bags under her eyes, but they think this is great. And Bill even left me the other day. He taught me how to talk on the radio. I rodged and...
Let me tell them about this. See, Chuck and Fern, we have, when we run the strikes, we have to be on the target area, which can be from, I guess 20 minutes to well, 3 hours and 45 minutes one way by Jeep, which we have to drive to. And these are scheduled by the Rocks and pass through us for approval for training purposes. And but we have to be there on the strike zone, for training purposes, an hour early. So the ones here in the local area, we kind of put Hell in her flight suit, even though it's 100% illegal. We throw her in a Jeep and. Huh? Oh, I see. We throw Helen in a Jeep and take her out with us. So I'll get her all checked out on the radios, and well, you call in and you have call signs, and my call sign is Gaudy Lanes, believe it or not.
Bondage.
Well, that's the DASC,
Bondage.
Direct Air Support Center.
Gaudy
Is
Lanes.
right.
Bondage, Gaudy Lane.
Right. And
Right.
who we're calling is Bondage, which is the Direct Air Support Center, which we call on HF, Chuck. $30,000 worth of equipment. And which is, I guess, 80 or 90 miles south of here. Anyway, we give them a call. And of course, they're in touch with Osan, which is another 100 miles away. And we have to pass the weather, and Helen is giving me a hard time right now. Anyway, quit that. Taught her how to call, say, Bondage, Gaudy Lanes.
My back hurts. Remember your trip to Florida?
Oh, I don't know what that meant, but anyway, got her all checked out on the real, professional radio talk. Bondage, Gaudy Lanes, and of course there was no answer. And I said, call again. Bondage, Gaudy Lanes, and after about 4 times it says, Gaudy Lanes, no, station calling Bondage, say again. And I said, just say Bondage, Gaudy Lanes, which she did. And the guy comes back and says, go ahead, sweetie. And told her to say, have the weather for ready, copy. And the guy says, Raj, go ahead. And she says, okay, weather's Cav okay. Go ahead, in real Cav okay, CAV okay, which means ceiling and visibility unlimited, or okay. And we've just had a great time. And tomorrow, well, we have 2 strikes in the local area, and of course she'll put on her flight suit and go in both of them with me. And we'll be back around 3 o'clock. And we're not going to make any more tapes tonight, Chuck and Fern. We'll try to continue it on in the morning. Maybe we can take this with us and maybe talk to you a little bit on the way to the strike and say a few words.
Night.
Well, gosh, honey, I'm making this over the top of the tape that you and I made when you were over here. And most of it was when I was talking before you got over here, when I was kind of building up to send it back to Chuck and Fern. Anyway, I had to leave that on there. And I thought that was a very appropriate place to cut in and cut out, kind of by accident, but I thought it was very appropriate. Boy, the way you said goodnight, well, I remember. Anyway, if you notice in the background once in a while, you can hear little music. And I hope that's not too disturbing because I got my stereo going on. It sounds like some background feed-in, but it's just the music I have on the background. Also, another thing is that I keep mentioning one of the advantages of moving into this apartment-style living is the yard. And I'm sure you're thinking the only thing Bill Reese is thinking of is try to get out of yard work, which may be, but really don't mean it that way. I think that overall, as far as convenience, not just the yard, mostly maybe, but not just the yard, I think we can move in much faster and okay, so I don't have as much yard work to do. Also, if you want to shut this thing off a little bit, honey, or at least get the kids out of here, listen to it, or put it in the earphones, I'll tell you a little bit of kind of private stuff. So let me shut off here just for a second, and you shoo the kids out of the room, or else listen to it real privately, and I'll tell you one other thing, okay? Okay, I got your, little pamphlet on the operation, and had all the things underlined. And well, I've been thinking about it for even before I got that. But I guess you're really sold on this thing, and I think I am too, honey. So I went over to the doc here at Camp Page and talked to him about 20 minutes. And I guess the military can do this kind of thing now, but they don't have the facilities here. He said it'd be much better to go to, a regular hospital where they have he said they just don't have the facilities for even that minor a surgery. He said it only takes about 20 minutes. And they called in the surgeon here, and he said, well, he'd be glad to do it, but they just don't have the facilities here on post, and he'd rather that I went to regular hospital. So I had him call Osan, and Osan doesn't have the facilities either. So we're working on he's calling, he called Osan, he's calling ASCOM, that's the hospital down in Seoul, and seeing how we can work it where we can send my records up to Yongsan, and that's the ASCOM hospital, and see if we can get this thing taken care of. So I'll try to get it, at Osan they said they couldn't do it, but they know a Korean doctor in Suwon, which is between Seoul and Osan, that does the same job just like in Japan. And I told him, well, I'd rather have it done in a military hospital if I could, and he said, well, he'd check and make sure that, or see if we could get it done. So I think I'll try to set up the appointment, preferably after I get back from, I don't know, just kind of playing it by ear now, but I'll do the best I can to get the thing taken care of here in Korea, either before I go on leave or right after. I understand it takes about 6 weeks for sure thing, so if I can get it done before I go, that'll be fine. Go to Japan, that is. And then by the time we get together in September, which, by the way, honey, do you realize that 2 months from today, which is the 26th, we'll be in Japan, or I'll be in Japan, and we'll be bugging out of here. That's 2 months from today. We can get a 3-day drop, so we're down to less than 2 months right now, with this being the 26th. Anyway, I'll try to get it done either before I leave here or as soon as I get back. It'd be much better if I could before I leave here, and then we'd have to sweat it out for the 5 days I'm home. But, because of the 6-week wait, which would mean when we leave here that we shouldn't have anything to worry about. And I'm kind of planning to go along with you, and I'm sure you're all for the project, so we'll see if we can get it done, even if I have to go see the civilian doctor in Suwon. And I guess he's fully recommended by the doctors in Osan, military types, because, they told the doctor up here that would be the best way to go. So, I'm going to shut this thing off now, honey. It's 10 minutes after 2, and I'll make a few more notes. Things I think I've said most important thing, and that's the moving into this apartment. And I'll shut it off now, make a few notes, and finish it up here, and try to get it off to you today.
Hi, Helen. This is Joe Crawford talking. I'm not too sure that you remember me, but I met you just 2 or 3 days before you got ready to leave here. And I've been instructed by Bill to tell you what a hardship tour that we have here in Chuncheon. Now, this afternoon, we've been running around the perimeter and checking all the fences and what have you from the area of the Officers Club. Right now, everything has turned out pretty great, and Bill, he's still sober, and I'm still walking around. But I think some of our contemporaries have crawled to the billets already. We kind of miss you being here with us, in that we need some assistance when we leave the front door of the Officers Club to get back to our respective rooms. But nevertheless, with the new colonel here, we've been able to make it so far. He's directed us in east, west, south, or what have you, so that we'd find where we'd supposed to be staying. How do I cut this thing off? I've run out of... So it's one of my responsibilities to ensure that all the troopies down in the B clubs adhere to all the rules and regulations set forth by the 4th Missile Command. Therefore, I've invited Bill to go with me tonight. We must go down and check them out and make sure that everything is straight.
Honey, you know, I've talked about Joe quite a bit, and he's OSI type, or MI as we call him, over here in the Army. And he's trying to get me to go downtown and inspect some of these B clubs. Of course, you don't know what that is. I've told him that you're pure and innocent, you know. But he's trying to lead me astray, take me down there and get me drunk and disorderly. And not the other D, by the way, or no, the L, by the way. Anyway, we're about 90% smashed. It's 10 minutes till 6 here, still the 26th of July, here on Sunday, right in downtown Chuncheon. Anyway, we're about 90% smashed. Been sitting over there all afternoon, kind of getting drunk, and we just stopped in here in the room. And if you'd like, we'll take the tape recorder with us and kind of record some of the incidents for the evening. Actually, I just assumed you not hear No, better not do that. Anyway, Joe wants to say something here, and we'll get it off to you here in about 6 hours. We only got about 30 minutes of tape left, so I'm going to give it back to Joe, and he's kind of bashful. He really doesn't understand the way you think, so I'll kind of hand it back to him, let him tell you a little about what he has in mind tonight, which is up to no good, by the way. Hey, Joe says he talks a little incoherent after a couple of gin and tonics, and I don't think he knows you and I. So I'm going to hand it back to him once more, and golly darn, it's only 6:15 here, and see if we can get him cut loose and just say a few words. Okay, honey?
Well, Helen, not only did Bill hand me the mic back so I could say a few more words, he also handed me a bottle of Sigerman 7s and says, let's have a little drink before we continue this conversation. And I am really flabbergasted for words because I don't have the whole makeup of what I really wanted to say down pat in my mind. But I do want to tell you one thing. There'll be no days like me leading Bill Reese astray.
Wait a minute.
And or it'll be... Wait a minute, let me finish.
Honey, this man is right out of the hills of Kentucky. Just barely speak English. And, so, I tell you, honey, it's bad. Now listen to this. When we play it back, just listen to this accent this guy's got.
And it'll be no days that I'll lead him astray. Because both of us think about the same things. And one of them is that dear little girl that we got back home. Now, we like to laugh, joke, drink, and smoke, but we don't play around. That was supposed to be a joke, Helen. I hope you laugh at it, but I got one joke that I want to tell you before we cut this thing off, if I've got enough time.
I just told Joe about the one bad word joke, so let's cut him loose here and see if he'll tell you this joke, okay?
We were down in the B club. We was going to check out all the girls and what have you and make sure that everything was up to snuff as far as the 4th Missile Command's various regulations were concerned. And this one girl, she come in and she sit down beside a Bill, and she started putting her arm around him and what have you.
Not a Swedish girl.
And Bill said to her, he says, "My God, honey, you look big enough to play with the Green Bay Packers." And she replied, she says, "But I don't want to play with nobody's Packer but yours."
That's a Swedish joke, honey, in case you haven't heard. Now, Joe don't believe I'm going to send this. And, oh, golly darn, we'll run into him again. In fact, you may have to be over here again. And you wouldn't believe that, would you? Come on, Joe, say a few words to Helen. Just say a few words.
Helen, everything that I've said, I hope you take in fun and a little jest. And I'm certainly sorry that didn't have enough time to spend with you and really get to learn your personality, because I know if it's anything like Bill's, you're one of the greatest persons that I'd ever want to meet in my entire life. And I hope that if you both end up in San Bernardino, that I get an opportunity once I leave Korea to stop by and see you and say hello and enjoy meeting your entire family, not only just you and Bill. One last thing before I quit, I want to tell you about a little thing that happened with Bill and I. A Sunday or so ago, they served Bloody Marys for sick call.
Good.
And Bill come walking in, and well, he'd already had a couple of Bloody Marys, but he ordered a bowl of chili. So I said, "My God, Bill, that looks like a Bloody Mary with beans in it." So he laughed. He thought that was pretty funny, and then
A bunch of us laughed about it.
oh yeah, a whole bunch of us laughed about this, you know, and we forgot the joke. And a couple of Sundays more passed, and here it is Sunday again, and I'm sitting at the table eating a bowl of chili, and I've been drinking gin tonics all day long, and Bill, he's sitting up at the bar with his new colonel that arrived some time ago, and he orders a little shot of gin, and he comes over and he pours it in my full bowl of chili. So the joke is on me, you know. I got the Bloody Mary with beans in it. But we found out one thing. That just doesn't work whatsoever, so don't ever try it.
Oh gosh, honey, that was great. Oh gosh, Colonel Frondorf and I were sitting there kind of batting a breeze, and Joe was sitting with Hank. And who else, Joe? Colonel Anderson and one of the new Hank's understudy. You know, Joe was having a bowl of chili, and I ordered a straight shot of gin. I went over and put it in his bowl, and actually Joe gave it a real good try. And I went over and tried it myself, but we'll never make it, honey. You just can't have a... That was Joe's idea, too, honey. You just can't eat chili with a shot of gin in it. Anyway, it was Joe's idea, and I'm sure we'll remember that 70 years from now. Okay, honey, it's, oh, golly darn, only 6:30, and Joe and I are about 90% smashed. And, ooh, plus we got a beer here and a little bit of 7 Crown, and we wish you were here to kind of have a drink with us. Actually, no, I won't say that. Anyway, I'll just shut it off, honey, and if Joe don't want to say any more, which he might, why, we'll just shut it off for a couple hours and wait till we sober up. Sober up? Okay, honey, we'll see you. Well, it's 10:30 in the morning here on the 27th now of July. And I'm sitting on the side of my bed, and you can probably hear the wind whistling over the top of this microphone here. I've got the fan put right on me. I got the day off today. I guess I got up about an hour ago, and went over and brushed my teeth, opened the beer, believe it or not, brought it back here to the room, and right now I'm sitting here with my beer and a cigarette. Got the day off, and no strikes here in 2 Corps, and Rick went with Colonel Frondorf down to 1st Corps to assist him today, so I don't have anything to do. I listened to the whole tape that I'm sending now. I guess I should have erased some of it, but I think I'll just go ahead and send it the way it is. Last night, actually what Joe was talking about, I got the hiccups. Last night what Joe was talking about was actually is responsible for B clubs, but it's a little different mission than what he says. He's kind of responsible for the intelligence and to make sure that he has to frequent these places to make, just kind of drop in, make sure that there's no black market, no classified discussions, and also anything he can pick up as far as information on dope and stuff like this. But it is really his job, but I haven't been with him yet on one of these tours. last night after we left the room here, we went back over to the club, and we only got as far as the patio. Colonel Frondorf and Ralph and Colonel Machini, the new Colonel Anderson replacement, and Dave and Al were sitting out on the patio, and we sat down and had a drink with them, which we really needed. And this note was delivered by Mr. Song, bartenders, and it was from Ted and Lola to come in and join them for something to eat. So I went in and had a couple of sandwiches, and we sat around and batted the breeze, and I came back to finish this. And I rearranged the room a little bit, brought the TV over on the nightstand beside my bed and placed on the dresser. Moved the antenna so that I could lay in bed and watch TV. And I had the tape recorder all set up. This was early, by the way. And just ended up I didn't make the tape. Anyway, it's a beautiful morning here in Korea. My golly, there's not a cloud in the sky for a change. All the rain's gone, and it is stinking hot already here at 10:30 in the morning. I'm just sitting on the side of the bed in my shorts. Got the fan turned right straight on me. Got the stereo on. Don't have a darn thing to do, so I think I'll just loaf around the room and finish this up. I've Mr. Lee's called to the snack bar and have a ham and egg sandwich and a quart of milk delivered for breakfast. So I think I'll just relax here in front of the fan a little while and see if I can finish this tape up to you. Like I say, I was going to erase a lot of it, but oh shoot, it's the way it happened, and you're kind of a legend over here, honey. And well, when I go to the club or when I meet people, or we always get around to house Helen and when she's coming back and all this stuff. We got Connie and Roger off yesterday. I think I told you earlier in the tape. Not sure if I did or not. That was yesterday. Colonel Anderson gave him a car to take him to Walker Hill. Yeah, I remember now. I told you about this. So they left thinking it's a real fine post. And the atmosphere is just great. Ted and Lola are having a great time. By golly, they haven't done too much. I've tried to give them some ideas, but just like I told them, I said the only thing that you and I did really was we kind of enjoyed just sitting and talking at the bar, and we could be happy just doing that. So they're still having a ball, though. They're not the type to, exactly like we were, enjoy it as much as we did, just sit there and bat the breeze between the two of us when we had a chance. But I think they're having a real fine time. And I've got maybe about 10 more minutes of this, honey. So I'll try to finish it up this morning. I've been working on it now for 3 days in place of writing. So I'll have to get it finished this morning. Today is kind of going to be my get things done day. Being so I have a day off, I have to call Osan pretty soon and get started on the orders. I want to make sure that we know exactly the easiest way to get the car shipped. I'll have orders out of here, and I'm going to have to make arrangements so I can spend some time in Japan and ship the car. And I need orders to reflect this. Also, to try to make arrangements for a port call for you and I out of Japan, you and I and the kids out of Japan. And I'm also need to check in a little bit on more about this getting snip bit today. So this will just be kind of a day to get the ball started. I haven't been moving too fast this morning. As I said, I'm still sitting on the side of the bed. Just been doing a lot of thinking for the last hour. Kind of drinking my beer and having a cigarette or two. It's 27th, which means that maybe 2 months from today we'll be in the States. You can't tell. It all depends on how long it'll take us to get moved out of Japan. But I'll shoot for that 3-day drop to leave here the 25th, which means I'll be leaving Osan about the 15th of September to go down and clear out the squadron and turn in all my equipment. And so we're getting kind of short, honey. We can't be writing that or saying that for the next 60 days, but we're close enough now where we can see the end. Let me shut this off, honey, and back it up and see how it sounds this morning, and I'll finish it off. This morning, honey. It's about noon now, and I'm still sitting on the side of the bed, but I've been on the phone for the last couple hours. I don't know if I got enough tape to say all I need to or not. I've wasted so darn much of it. I wish I had another 20, 30 minutes left. I called Osan, and I have to go down. I'll try to get Bud Munt to run me down Wednesday and they're going to handle all the orders, and I can have them by the last of the week. The whole shooting match. That's to get the household furniture moved, get you a port call, and the whole bit. I said if I could come down, they can take my old orders, the ones I come over here on, they can just make one set of orders, which you get us started. So I'll try to get that done either Wednesday or Friday, depending on when I have the most free time. No strikes. Get Bud to fly me down, get that out of the way. And then I'm going to plan on leave, honey, either the 8th or the 15th. I can't tell you when yet, but it'll either be the weekend of the 8th or the 15th. Also, I called the doctor on this getting snipped bit, and I need my records, a letter from you, a letter from a doctor, and a letter from me, and they'll do it at ASCOM, in the hospital. So when I go to OSAN, I'll pick up my records and get a letter from the doctor and find out what kind of a letter they want from you, and then they'll have you send that, and then we just submit that to the hospital, and they'll do that right down at Yongsan. So most of the time this morning, I've been just thinking about how to work this getting home bit. Gosh, honey, I think we ought to send. I have to talk pretty fast now because I'm about out of tape here. We'll send the car and our furniture. We can, as soon as we get the orders, we can have the furniture sent. Our furniture in storage sent to Norton. And if we can send our stuff, our whole baggage direct to Norton, if we do it early enough, honey, it should be there waiting on us when we get there. And we'll pick the car up right at Travis. We'll have the car sent to Travis, and it'll be sitting there waiting on us, all ready to go. And we can probably spend one night right there at Travis, and then the next day drive to San Bernardino. And I went over the literature, and with reservations, we can stay in the guest house there until we can get ourselves organized. And as far as when we go home and pick up the trailer, and when we see your folks, we'll just have to kind of play that beer, honey. I think we'd be better off to get the kids in school and maybe have your folks come out, and maybe during Thanksgiving try to make some plans to get out to see the folks. I think we're better off doing that than trying to get home, because we're going to spend so darn much money plus time. It'd take us at least, oh gosh, I need 10 days travel time to get even to Illinois and back with the trailer, and much less if we try to get up to Pittsburgh. So if we spend a night at Travis, take the car, and I can make reservations at the guest house through the communications here, send a wire and make us reservations at the guest house there at San Bernardino, so we have a place to stay when we get in. And we'll have our furniture there waiting on us, and if we can find us one of these apartments that we like, we can move in, get squared away. I'll still be on leave, and I can sign it off leave, and then they still give you, we can take as much leave as we want, even up to 45 days if we want to, as much as we want to get settled and squared away. It all depends on how things work out. We can talk all this over. Anyway, that's what we'll do to get started. I'll try to get snipped even before I get home, which won't do us any good this next trip, but also I'll try to get the orders so we can get the car sent and get the furniture out of storage and waiting for us in San Bernardino, and also get our household sent whenever we want to, so it'll be waiting on us when we get there. How does that sound, honey? Anyway, we're getting close now, honey. Things are, I'm sure will start popping, even though we got 2 months to go. We got a lot of stuff to get done. Well, the tape's about over, honey, and I'm going to head and send this. I know that some of it's kind of silly, but maybe we'll get a kick out of it. So I wanted to leave the part on there, especially that you and I made that night in bed. I thought that was great. I want to hear that. Okay, bye-bye, honey.